الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم أما بعد. الإمام النووي رحمه الله تعالى في رياض الصالحين يقول في باب أمر ولاة الأمور بالرفق برعاياهم ونصيحتهم والشفقة عليهم. The obligation of officials to show kindness to their subjects. قال وعن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها قالت سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول في بيتي هذا. She was speaking about her house. She said, he was here when I heard him speak in those words. قالت اللهم من ولي من أمر أمتي شيئا فشق عليهم فاشقق عليه ومن ولي من أمر أمتي شيئا فرفق بهم فارفق به رواه مسلم. Here's Hadith Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. She said, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam making this dua in my house. He said, O Allah, treat harshly those who rule over my ummah with harshness and treat gently those who rule over my ummah with gentleness. Rawahu Muslim. So anyone, wali min amri ummati shay'an, he said, not just ruling, but anyone who has become, an official, or at least became, kind of governing the affairs of the Muslims in any way, and he made it easy for them, oh Allah, make things easy for him. And anyone who has been put in a position to rule over this ummah, govern their affairs, and he was harsh and he made things difficult for them, oh Allah, make things difficult for him in his life. So, ya ikhwa, I'm in a position of an imam. I hope I'm inshallah taking things easy on you, Imam.
Inshallah.
If not, let me know, please. I'm in big trouble because of this hadith right now. And if someone of you has been put in a position to lead over the ummah, whether you've been assigned to lead an Islamic school, or maybe lead a halaqah, or even, let's say, take care of a weekend school, or even the imara and the leadership of this community, this also applies to all of you. One day you're going to be assigned to lead an ad hoc committee. The community wants your expertise in doing some, let's say, IT business for the community, let's say networking in the masjid and so forth. And you have a team with you. There is psychology about leadership. Once you become the head of a team, subhanAllah, somehow you feel the authority, and it's really intoxicating. It is, people, they just, as Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, إِنَّ سَكْرَةَ الْمُلْكِ أعظم من سكرة الخمر. Basically, the intoxication that people they feel and they get out of taking position of leadership is greater than the intoxication of wine. Because he said that intoxication of wine, people they would come to wake up from it somehow. But intoxication of governing a government and leadership and ruler, basically the rulers, it's not easy to wake up from. That's why, like in Muslim and Arab countries, you have, mashallah, presidents who rule for life. Imagine you have a republic that is run by, elected officials, and these elected officials, they run for life, mashallah. They have been running for the past 30 years, and the whole population was in support of them all these years, tabarak ar-Rahman. Imagine if they were kings. How would they rule? Allah musta'an. I think they would rule in a better way, wallahi, because they know that their term is not going to come to an end until they die anyway. But so they try to make things better for the people. But subhanAllah, this is like that as you see, they just try to make things difficult for the ummah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made things terrible for them. Maybe they enjoy temporary luxury, and even in countries like in Pakistan, for example, every time someone rules, and they become the president for a few years, and after they're toppled and they're removed, few years later, they start pursuing them and they go after them to go send them to jail. And then they come out from jail, they rule again. And then they put them back to jail. Allah musta'an. Wallah, it's humiliation. It's divine intervention in these cases from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ever tried you and tested you by becoming a leader, a ruler, or even in any position to take care of the affairs of the Muslim ummah, remember that. It's an authority, it's a responsibility, and if you take things and make things easy for the ummah, in the way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, not making things easy in your own ways, in the way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will make things easy for you bi'idhnillah in this dunya and the akhirah. And if you make things difficult, don't expect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to let this go. If you think you're getting away with it in the dunya, only Allah knows how the end will be, and if not in the dunya, you still have the account with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help our leaders in this community to make things easy for us. So that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. Wallahu alam. Any question, ya Jama'ah? MashaAllah, we were scared, yeah.
Sheikh, if you're given a position of authority,
No.
is it okay for you to have preference towards Muslims? So, for example, if you have a job opening, you have between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, is it okay for you to give preference towards Muslims?
Is that allowed in the system? If it's allowed in the system, then that's fine. Equal opportunity, that's the case that I know of. But they ask you, we have job openings, for example. If you know anyone who knows how to do these things, bring them to us. So if you know a Muslim friend, and you know that he's good at this stuff, bring him in. That's fine, as long as the system allows that. But if you know there is somebody else who's more applicable for that position and more expert in the field, and you go after someone who is less, that becomes a khiyana, because they ask you to bring the expert. They didn't ask you to bring the expert Muslim. So that becomes actually, if they allow you to choose, then yes, you have a preference, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam. Yes?
Now that power of authority, it only applies towards the Muslim, or it's just general?
That's in general. The power of authority is in general. Once you're in a position of authority, everybody else under your leadership is like a subject in this regard. Wallahu a'lam. Yes?
Unrelated, not this topic. Somebody passed away and he left wealth. Is it obligatory for his children to perform Hajj if that person did not perform Hajj?
No. If someone passed away and they did not perform Hajj, they left money behind, their money. Are their kids obligated to perform Hajj on their behalf? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. They're obligated to perform Hajj, and if they left money sufficient to sponsor someone, whether it's his child or someone else, then they should actually send someone to perform Hajj for them. Provided that the person who goes to Hajj on their behalf should have already done their Hajj for themselves. You don't send someone who never been to Hajj before. No, someone who already been to Hajj so they can perform Hajj on their behalf. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was approached by someone and asked him that his father or his mother passed away and they didn't go to Hajj. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that then Allah haqqu bil ada al qada, the debts that are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are more worthy to be paid first. So you pay the debts that belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this case, the Hajj is one of the debts that needs to be paid. Does it have to be done immediately the next year, right away? The sooner the better. Does it have to be the person who does the Hajj on their behalf? Does this person have to be a child, descendant of that person? He doesn't have to be a descendant of that person.
How would that person have the opportunity to perform Hajj, but he did not?
It doesn't matter. Even if the person who did not go to Hajj had opportunities to go and they never took the opportunities to go, the Hajj is considered wajib and muwassa. It's actually an expanded obligation. You had an opportunity to do it any time during your lifetime. No one knows when their life will end. So if it ended, unexpectedly, which is always unexpected in this regard, yes, are they going to be considered liable for delaying Hajj to that extent? Liability is there of delay at a time when it becomes hard and difficult for them to go to Hajj. For example, someone becomes 90 years old and they left thousands of dollars, if not even millions of dollars, they never went to Hajj. This person will be held liable for that. Because Allah has given you the money, the wealth and the health when you were younger. And now that you became 90 years old, you've never been to Hajj, that's a different thing. Wallah. No.
Performing Umrah on behalf of the deceased, the dead person.
How about Umrah? Is it also obligation to perform Umrah on behalf of the deceased? Some of the fuqaha, those who actually say Umrah is an obligation as equal to Hajj, they say yes, you should do that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ, and fulfill Al-Hajj and Al-Umrah. So for this, they say Al-Umrah also an obligation to be performed like equal to Al-Hajj. But Hadith al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abdullah bin Umar bin Khattab, بُنِيَ الْإِسْلَامُ عَلَى خَمْسٍ, and he said Al-Hajj لِمَنْ اسْتَطَاعَ عَلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Hajj, he didn't mention Umrah with that. And Ayat Al-Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنْ اسْتَطَاعَ عَلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. To perform Hajj for those who can perform that, means if they afford going to Hajj. Those who say Umrah is included, they consider Umrah a minor Hajj. So when Allah says وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ, they to perform Hajj, that is an obligation upon them, they say Umrah is also included. Allah, I believe that Umrah is not wajib, But it's definitely, it is highly recommended that a person, when he goes to Hajj, even if you go for the first time in your lifetime, make Umrah while you're there, inshallah ta'ala, just to be on the safe side.
Even if the deceased has performed Umrah before?
If he performed Umrah before, it's over, khalas. You don't have to do Umrah on their behalf.
So what's the habit of people right now performing Umrah on behalf of the deceased, even if they have performed it?
May Allah reward them for this. I personally believe that when you go to Umrah in one journey, it counts only one Umrah. Yani, you don't, some people, they go to Umrah from here, from America, and in one visit, they do 10,000 Umrahs. Every time they finish Tawaf, they pray to Rak'ah, make Sa'i and so on, and they go back to At-Tan'im. They do another intention, they come back again, and then back, keep going the entire day, 10, 15 Umrahs in one visit. Wallahu a'lam, this is inappropriate. That wasn't the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ when he did that. So what do you need to do then in this case? Just do one Umrah. And the rest of your time, do it in Tawaf. Keep doing Tawaf. Unless you have multiple visits different in the Arabian Peninsula. For example, you first arrive to Jeddah, so you go to do Umrah, and then you come back to stay in Jeddah. Then you went to to Medina. Then on the way back from Medina, that's another journey. Go ahead, do another Umrah. It's okay. You finish again in Mecca, you went back again to Jeddah, stayed there in Jeddah for some time. And then now, right before you leave, for example, say, you know what, I want to go and do another Umrah before I leave. Then you just go back to Mecca. And then, so in this case, it's all right. But in one single day, you do these marathon Umrahs.
But the rewards for the deceased, does he get rewards from
the reward is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah alam if the deceased will get the reward for that or not. I'm optimistic, inshallah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most generous. But if the Umrah was an obligation or another, someone just gave another to make Umrah, it becomes an obligation to fulfill that. Now,
Okay, so what if you live in Mecca? Can you do more than one Umrah?
That's different. If you live in Mecca, you can do Umrah as many times as you want. That's because you're local in this regard. But those who come from other places, they need to do it for each. The Umar al-Khattab, even he banned people from doing Umrahs, multiple Umrahs in one journey. He said you do it in multiple journeys. Otherwise, if you just allow people to do Umrahs in one journey, they will just come one visit, do Umrah for a lifetime, and they never come back again to Mecca. That's what was his concern. Actually, Umar al-Khattab, that was his concern. He said that I don't want the house to be empty from visitors. Otherwise, people, they come one time, they make again lifetime Umrahs, and then they never come back again. No. Yes?
What about the fasting for the deceased?
Say it again.
Fasting.
Fasting? Obligatory fasting, yes. If the deceased dies, they left, let's say, a few days from Ramadan, or they had kafara, expiation for something that to do some fasting. Yes, someone needs to do the fasting on their behalf. That's also hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When a woman said that her mother, she left a few days, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that they should fast on their behalf. No. But not optional fast. Let's say Mondays and Thursdays, you cannot do that on their behalf. But if they left obligatory fast, you make it on their behalf.
Is it mandatory on the kids to do this?
I'm not going to say mandatory, but that's part of Birrul Walidain. And if their father died, he left a few days because he was ill in the month of Ramadan and was never able to recover to do that, and then they haven't paid kafara, they should fast these days. Birrul Walidain, being dutiful to parents. One of the children says, I'm not going to fast. If you want, he could fast for himself. Yeah, but he was ill. He couldn't do it. That's the thing. However, you cannot fast on behalf of someone who did not want to fast at all. Let's say a mother, for example, she always told her daughter, why don't you fast Ramadan? Oh, I'm not going to fast Ramadan. Oh, I'm still too young for this. When I get older, or something like that. So they never fast, out of laziness. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to take their life at that age, accident, whatever, they died early, according to their standards of saying early when they were young. So they lived 5-6 years, never fast a month of Ramadan. Can you fast Ramadan on their behalf in this case? The answer is no. Too late for this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. Every insan shall face what they have already earned, what they have done for themselves. Wallahu a'lam. Last question, inshallah.
So my question to you on the Umrah, so if you go for Umrah, you make Umrah for yourself, and you make Umrah for your parents, or there's no point?
Again, it's the same thing. I'm not going to say there's no point in doing these multiple Umrahs, but I'm of the opinion, according to Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu tradition, and the performance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not to do multiple Umrahs in one journey. Those who say you can do multiple umrahs in one journey, they cite hadith Aisha al-Mu'minin radiyallahu ta'ala anha. When she was going to Hajj with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, prior to starting her tawaf, she had her period start. So she kind of felt, when the Prophet sallallahu said, okay, that's fine, don't do the tawaf right now, just do the Hajj rituals besides the tawaf, and then when you're done, you can make your tawaf afterwards, inshallah ta'ala. So when she became pure from her period, she did her tawaf. On the way out, she said, Ya Rasulullah, as they were marching right now to go back home to Medina, she said, Ya Rasulullah, everybody is going to be going home with Hajj and Umrah, and you want me to leave home with just Hajj? No, I need to do Umrah. So the Prophet ﷺ called her brother, says, Ya Abdul Rahman, come over here. Take your sister to Tan'im, have her do Umrah. So what do you understand from this? تطيب خاطر, يعني just basically fine, let her do Umrah, it's okay. But it wasn't to establish a whole rule on this regard. That's the understanding of this hadith. But other fuqaha, they understand that differently. They say it was a precedent on which we can make comparisons, analogies, and also qiyas, so we can extend that to everybody else. Wallah. And I would say, if you're going to make any qiyas in this case, you have to limit that qiyas to the same circumstances. It's not like for someone who comes healthy and wealthy, mashallah, and they do one umrah, and then they keep doing, just like I said, umrahs back and forth, 10, 15, 20 times umrah. In terms of reward, may Allah reward them. I can't say anything about it. In terms of their intention, alhamdulillah, the intention is good, inshallah ta'ala. But in terms of, sunnah, is that the practice of the Prophet? Could that be something good to do? I would say, you'd rather actually do one umrah per journey, and the rest of your time spend it in making tawaf around the Kaaba like the Prophet ﷺ would do. Because if this was okay, the Prophet would have done it actually multiple times himself. But he never did that, salawatullahi wa sallam alayhi. Wallahu a'lam. One last thing, ikhwa. Last night when we announced the partition actually,